everybody. I hope everybody's day is going well. Hopefully you're asleep because it is 12:56 a.m. in my area, Central Standard Time. But today's topic is actually going to be signs that you're experiencing job burnout. And if you experience, I'd say personally, two or more of these symptoms, then you might need to do something about it. And I'm in that category. So honestly, just being upfront with you guys. So we're going to go ahead and just get right with it, man. Okay, so number one is pretty funny, but literally the smallest inconvenience at work sets you off. Whether it's inside your head or if you show it physically outside and kind of crash out and talk and get angry. But what I mean by that is literally, so say, I don't know, there's just a piece of trash on the floor that the previous shift left in your aisle, and you're just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, they always do this. The previous ship, oh, you know what I mean? Just start like, bro, it's a piece of trash, just pick it up and throw it away. That's something really simple. But a personal example for myself is legitimately, and by this time you guys know I'm a forklift operator and I have assigned aisles and stuff. So my version of that is just knowing that another forklift just isn't doing their job. So people are calling for fork and they're calling for me because I'm just close enough to them. And I go help their aisle and I end up having to do their whole aisle because they're just not doing their work. And for me, that's my version of it where I'm like, oh my gosh, every single day, every single, So it's like, and I don't, I keep it in my head, but it still happens. So yeah, small inconvenience setting you off is a sign that you might have some burnout, and that's just one. So number two is simply you count the hours until it's time to leave, bro. I'm talking about from the moment you clock in, you're like, all right, 8 hours ago, and then you're over here like, bro, we just got here and we're already counting. And anytime you look at the clock, maybe you're just looking at your phone too much simply just to see the time. If you're doing things like that, then more than I mean, it's obvious that you could have something that you're looking forward to at home, but if it's something that you do more often than not every day that you show up to work, then it's like, okay, bro, more than likely you're just like not enjoying your time. It's a symptom. It's not 100% for everybody, but that's just one symptom that I'd have to say. Now, do I do that personally? No. Actually, that kind of stuff will drive me actually clinically insane. The more that you look at your phone and check the time, the more that you will the slower time goes, bro. And that's just a fact. I don't even need a PhD. I don't need a degree. I don't need Google. I can tell whenever I look at my the time on my phone more often than not, time goes slower. Like there was one time at work where I get there at 2. That's my start time, 2 p.m. And the whole day's going good, easy, all that stuff. And then it's 9 o'clock. It's almost time to go. We get out at 10:30, and I check my phone just to check my phone, right? And I see the time 5 times, dude. First time I checked, it was 9:10. Then it was 9:20. Then it was 9:24 or 24, and then it was 9:30. And then the last time it was like 9:50. And that not even an hour that had passed felt like genuinely 2 hours. And I'm like, wow, why isn't it time to go? What the heck? But it's because I was literally just checking the time. Like, just don't do that, bro. But that's number two. I don't do that because it's just smarter not to. So I even actually hide the time because I get on my phone to change the music and stuff like that. That's no issue. But when I do that, I literally cover the time or just avert my eyes intentionally. So yeah, let's get on with number three, man. So literally number three. Now, not everyone has the opportunity to work overtime, of course, but if you do and you're intentionally not working overtime, even if you financially need that extra money, oh yeah, you probably don't like your job, bro. You're probably having some serious burnout going on to where you're mentally just not allowing yourself to do better financially simply because you genuinely don't like where you're at, physically where you're at. And I've experienced it. I've done similar things. Now, I have been working some overtime lately, but I am actually the kind of guy who will work like 20 hours of overtime minimum usually. Because first of all, they have us work a lot of overtime anyway. Like they can actually have us. We're a union over there where I work, and they legitimately have us work 20 hours of overtime on a regular basis. But even days or weeks that we don't have to, I will end up working that usually. But recently, I've genuinely just not appreciated where I'm at with my job. And that overtime has dwindled down to like 4 hours a week. And that's just literally how I've been doing things. This week I got 8 hours, so a little bit better, but not anywhere near where I used to do, where I used to be. Because mentally, I still need to tell that story, man. I really need to make one of these videos, like one of these next videos, a story about my current job. Because the way that they did me, I really need to go ahead and just put it out there. But yeah, so that's number three. And we're going to go straight up to number four, bro. If you, now this could be just a personal thing, like just case by case, person by person basis. But number four is you feel uncomfortable holding a conversation. And that just legit means, actually, I'm going to mix this with one of my other points and genuinely just say, not only do you feel uncomfortable holding a conversation, but you also hate seeing everyone at work because it just reminds you that you're at work. And this doesn't have any fault of the people at work. It's obviously just not their fault. They work there too. But it's kind of like you just see the atmosphere. It's not just the people, but you see the walls. You see the color of the walls. You see your job. You just don't like seeing your job. And the people are just an extension of the job to you. Now, there was one point in time where at my current job, I genuinely actually thought I hated everyone there, and I didn't. And I figured that out. I just figured out that I just wasn't happy with my job. I just didn't appreciate where I was at in life and my job as well. So the people that I seen there, I just didn't try to hold conversation. I just kept to myself. I just been quiet all the time. And that's not good for you mentally. It's really not. So I do hold a conversation now. I do, say what's up to everybody. I'm happier. You know what I mean? I am genuinely happier now than I was before. So that's a big part of that. But also allowing myself to be happy, because just because you hate a job doesn't mean that you have to hate your life. Because let's just go ahead and say it. Our job kind of is our life. If you spend 8 hours in one place every single day, at least 5 days a week, that's your life. Maybe not the only part of your life, but that is a big part of your life. And it is your life regardless. So it's like you need to at least enjoy what you have. So, these are points of saying you might have burnout, but don't let the burnout, don't just because you have the symptoms, don't let that be like your reason, like your 13th reason. You know what I mean? You don't want that. But all right, so yeah, that's number four, and we mix that together. And number five, bro, is it kind of goes with the other stuff, but you genuinely feel trapped at work, bro. And what I mean by that is it's kind of coinciding with the potential mandatory overtime that you might have to work depending on where you're at. Like if you're in a warehouse job, mandatory overtime is just a part of life. That's just genuinely a part of the job. But if you genuinely feel trapped at work, like, so say you got debt, I have debt. And at this point in time, I mean, there were times where I just didn't actually have debt and I just didn't go to work very often. And it's not this job I'm talking about. I mean in the past when I just didn't have debt because I never was exposed to it, didn't really care, didn't need it. And I didn't even know of debt actually. And I just didn't work that much. And it was a blessing. But lo and behold, now I have debt. And I'm like, oh, kind of need to go to work. So hopefully this month, literally this month, by the end of this month, I will be out of debt by just, working my butt off and not joking around, not spending all my money on food, just actually implementing the changes that I'm supposed to. But if you do feel trapped at work, you might feel some burnout because you really shouldn't feel trapped anywhere, You have an option to go anywhere where you want to in life. Now, obviously, if you go somewhere else in life, doesn't mean that it's gonna be the best place ever. But you do still have that option. But if you feel trapped because whether it's finances or just like, oh well, this is obviously where you might have some burnout. So I actually remember hearing, I believe Rhino 0_ was the guy who told me you're gonna feel trapped wherever you're at, whatever job. You're always gonna hate your job. But the thing that you need to make sure is that it pays you, and it pays you well. So that could just be a part of life, just feeling trapped at a job here in America. That's just where we're at. That's just what we do. We feel trapped in our jobs because we just have to work it. So that's probably more commonplace than any anything else on this list, to be honest with you.
It's that
But
glitching again.
now look here. I think this is the last one right here. Number 6 is probably the most telling part. Now, this could just be a life situation
I
instead of
missed
just,
you.
I mean, work is part of life. So let me just go ahead and say it. So even when you're home on your off days, you stay in bed, or not even off
Hey,
days,
look what
but
you're
even when
doing.
you're at home,
Stay
you
away
have the
from
free
my
time to do stuff
monster.
at home and it's not time for
Monster's a
work yet,
classic.
you just end up staying in bed until it actually is time for work.
You are dead.
That isn't good. There's no way around it. That isn't good. Now I have done that before, but it's seldom.
Oh,
I don't
sure,
actually do
you
that,
grow,
especially
but you still can't
especially
handle
especially
the
these
monster.
days. Because I will be honest,
They were here.
when my father
Now
did,
they're not.
fast and stuff,
What's his
I
life been
did
living
promise to myself
inside?
that I'm not about to just do the same old and sit here and just allow time to fly by. Now, obviously, it's not super easy breaking those kinds of habits, but the whole just sitting in bed forever, that stuff's dead to me. That's done and over with. I'm not doing that anymore. I've done it before. It never feels good doing it in the first place, but when you actually experience, when you have something major happen where, you just, when your loved ones pass and stuff, you really do have a lesson with that. Because my father, he passed at 45, and like
When
45,
did I run out of ammo?
45, that is very young, and we're all baffled by it. He just didn't have good health, and he was kind of hiding a lot of his health conditions from us because he didn't want us to worry. That's my best bet. That's my best guess. And we could have helped him, but we didn't know. But what I will say is that 45 is way too young, and that's just something that really stuck with me because that just really puts into perspective that you're never promised tomorrow. Now we might expect tomorrow, and there's nothing wrong with expecting. That's fine, but you're never promised it. It could anything can happen. All these crazy videos you might see on Facebook or
Another
YouTube
ammo.
where someone gets hit by a car or something
Hey,
that you just
it's
never
getting
expected to
close.
happen, but here, lo and behold, it happened to somebody, and that's
All
somebody.
zombies, I
Um,
am coming
you're
for
somebody.
you.
I'm somebody. You know what I mean? And even famous people are somebody. With all due respect, Kobe Bryant in a helicopter. I mean, everybody would have expected him to be never in a situation like that because he's Kobe Bryant, but lo and behold, it still happened. We are all humans, and yeah, that whole laying in bed all day until it's time to get ready for work, just let your whole day fly by because after you go to work, especially if you're on second shift, that is your whole day. That is your whole day. So whatever you got to do before you show up to work at 2 is something you just need to get done and call it even. And yeah, so if you do that kind of stuff, if you do any of these things, if you feel any of these things, obviously that's not good. You might be experiencing some real legitimate job burnout, and that's something that you want to handle. And how do you handle stuff like that, man? So in these cases, it really varies, of course. But a healthy thing that you could try is to, if you do have a job to where you can take a vacation, where you have like a week of vacation or anything like that, man. I know that's a week out of the year. That's like the one week you want to like use to your advantage and use in a wise way. But if it's to that point to where you need to do something, hey man, maybe take that vacation, bro. Save up though. Save up, save your money. Oh my
This
gosh, it's a
must be
thunder gun.
vodka
But
power.
this playthrough is actually a sad one. But we'll get to it. Anywho, take that vacation, have a good day, have a good week, have a good time. And obviously, a vacation only lasts so long. So, what else can you do? Well, honest to God, there's a couple things you can do. But honest to God, the first thing you might have to do, this is something I'm doing actually, right as we speak. I have accepted a job offer at a different place. I I met the people. I met this. Okay, so I'm just gonna say it. At my job, supervisors and managers are my main issue. Really, the people who are a little higher than supervisors, more like I don't know, the building boss, whatever you call those guys, general managers. I don't know, but those are my real issues with my current job, and they are making changes that I hate. So, like I said, I work from 2 to 10:30, and now they're basically switching it to where we're working from 4 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. just because they said so. And then I worked Monday through Friday, but now I'm working Tuesday through Saturday. I value my weekends off. And if I please to work a Saturday, then I would much rather it be my choice instead of an expectation every single week. And they're just changing that because they said so. And I, with all the fiber in my being, I dislike that. I'm trying not to say hate because I don't want to just put the word hate on everything that I say because it is a strong emotion. I'd like to reserve that for more things I actually hate, which I do, but regardless, I digress. At the end of the day, though, yeah, dude, they're changing a lot of things up. There's a corruption, and sometimes you just gotta switch jobs, man. You know. But obviously, what can you do past that? So with this new job, I might actually be able to get a certificate and go to college and actually still hold this job down while not making too much less, because this new job that I'm actually going for is going to be crazy. It's 12-hour days, but it's 3 and 4 days every other week. So 3 days on one week, and then 4 days off one week, and then 4 days off the next week, and then 3 days off the next week. So it's always a 3-4-3-4-3-4, you know, and that's awesome because just imagine having a minimum of 3 days off a week. Excuse me, 3 days off a week without having to sacrifice a lot of money because you work 12 hours. Now, Amazon did that, right? I used to do that with Amazon, work overnight, and it was really hard. And it is overnight, so that's kind of a big deal. I even promised myself a long time ago that I would never work overnight again. But the simple fact of the matter is that that job over there starts at um, 4 p.m. and then it ends at, uh, since this is 12 hours, it ends at 4:30 a.m. But the thing is, I'm already going to be up super late. You know what I mean? Because my current job is switching my whole schedule to starting 4 p.m. and then ending 12:30 a.m. Now, obviously, you would expect to say, "Hey, well, that's still like 4 extra hours. So what are you talking about? You know, what are you talking about, yap a lot?" Well, the real deal is that at my current job, they make us work 10-hour days minimum, and then 100 days of summer is coming up, and basically for us, that's our busiest time of the year. We will be working 12 hours a day. We literally will be. It was not a maybe, if, and, or but. No, we will be working 12 hours a day. So if I'm gonna have to work 12 hours a day, I would at least not. I would at least like to not have to work 6 days a week, 12-hour days. Now, technically, I could say that we don't have to because on our union contract, we actually got it updated to where we can only be worked 60 hours a week maximum. So they could just hit us for 5, but at the end of the day, I still like the other side, the other job. So with the other job, I have to say I enjoy the people there because they're all real legit chill people, even the supervisors and managers, and not chill as in like they let you get away with BS, just chill as in if you do your job and you do it right and you're willing to learn and you listen up, then they got your back. And the funny thing is that's not it. This job used to be owned by Denmark apparently. And the thing about them is that they give you 3 weeks vacation week one, or day one, higher day, and then on top of it, they what was it? They give you, yeah, I think it's 11 holidays of the year, and then no, I think it's 10 holidays in the year, and then you get your own personal holiday. You pick whatever day that is. So basically another vacation day, and you pick whatever day you want. Now the downside is you are working with emulsifiers, which are apparently toxic. It's this thing called polysorbate 80, and the facility could low key explode. It could low key explode. So I think the reason that they're giving you such a good time and a good life and livelihood there is because it could all end one day. You'd never know. Because as soon as it happens, it's over with. It's over with. An explosion? Come on, bro. But I do actually believe that is the reason. But I kind of have this plan to take a vacation, not a vacation, but time off, as in time away. What's it called? Leave of absence, where you're gone for like maybe a month or two. I'm thinking for a month, I'll go to that job and see if it's legitimately somewhere I could see myself staying, and also maybe like not die at because the chemical, it has like gas that goes out everywhere too, and you'd be breathing stuff like that in on a regular basis, and I don't know if it's not oxygen. Then I'm pretty sure, yeah, I know it's not supposed to go inside you. Of course, whatever the air is composed of is cool with us. And outdoor, whatever the air is, oxygen, nitrogen, all that other stuff, of course, whatever. But when it comes down to anything other than that, you kind of got to think a little harder about that stuff. So I'm thinking about taking a leave of absence, going that extra step and working there for like a month to see if it's legit something somewhere I can see myself staying, and then see what's going on with this college stuff, man. But yeah, sometimes if you have too many of these symptoms of job burnout, man, sometimes the right thing to do is to go ahead and just get another job, bro. At least look for one. And not just that, but just consider your options. Like just legitimately consider your options. Like, what can you do? Things like maybe you could go back home to your parents and just live with them again, and then go to college if they will let you pay or live with them rent free, and you can just go to college like that. You know, get a certificate, anything, bro. Just go ahead, man. But with that being said, I think it's about that time. I appreciate everybody for sticking around once again, watching my video, listening to me yap a lot. It's been Yap a Lot Gaming. I really hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Wish me luck in getting to the next city here, because I'm about to go. This time I'm actually going out of town to go see my sister for her birthday party and stuff. And because yesterday was not her birthday, I can't believe I didn't know that myself. I thought it was, yesterday, but it wasn't. It's today. It's the 13th of April. But regardless, I hope you guys have a great one, and I'll see y'all next time, man. Peace out.